The Philadelphia Flyers are heading back to the postseason after a 3-2 victory over the Carolina Hurricanes, and I could not be more excited for some playoff hockey to be back in South Philly after, 8 long years to have it in this building. 6 years since their last playoff appearance in the bubble in the 2020 season. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to break it all down. Welcome to Smedley on Sports. If you're new, thanks for joining me. I'm Mitchell Smedley. If you're a returning customer, welcome back. Great to have you along as we break down the Philadelphia Flyers, putting together 2 awesome games here as the season winds down. They have 1 to go, and it doesn't matter. They have clinched the 3rd seed in the Metropolitan Division, and they have set up a date with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Crosby sucks. All of them suck. We'll get into it. They're all old and decrepit and bums. We'll break that down. But let's talk about your Philadelphia Flyers as they win it 3-2 in the shootout. It took 4 shooters. My goodness, what a marathon of a game. Flyers go down 2-0 early in this one. It looked like, oh no, are we going to have to sweat it out on the final night of the season as Columbus and Washington play each other? One of them's guaranteed to win. We have to get the dub because of the tiebreakers. Not so fast. That second period, the Flyers looked like they had nothing after their initial surge in the first period where they couldn't get one past Bussy. But in the second period, it was Matvei Michkov from the angle. What a sick shot that was. And he gets the Flyers on the board before Trevor Zegras on the power play. On the power play! Didn't know that was possible! But the Flyers score a power play goal. They get us even at 2. As that was some, bouncing around in front of the crease. And Trevor Zegras puts it away. Man, it would take a while before we saw another puck go in the back of the net, all the way to a shootout. The Flyers were just barely surviving that third period. All kinds of pressure. Same thing in the overtime. One went off the post. Thought it was over, but, oh man, throughout that whole time, Dan Vladar continuing his, being the most valuable player on this hockey team. He was an absolute stud the whole game. And he continued to be so in the overtime period, as well as the shootout, where none of the original 6 shooters would score until Tyson Foerster, 1 for 8 in his career coming in, and he would bury it as everyone else was trying to go low and from the angle and dangle slowly. Tyson Foerster was a man on a mission. He went right in there, powered it up, and got it in. And then Vladar would make 1 more save, and the Flyers would be heading back to the postseason a la 2010 when the same thing occurred with Brian Boucher in the net. So a lot of good vibes surrounding this hockey team. I have a couple comparisons. Number one, the obvious comparison is to that 2010 team. And they would eventually lose in the Stanley Cup final, Game 6, to the Chicago Blackhawks. Going to that shootout to go to the playoffs. JJ with a very similar call on both shots. It was exciting, and it was cool to get kind of that nostalgia. But the bigger comparison that I have, this hockey team feels a lot like the 2022 Philadelphia Phillies. A team that didn't have expectations, a team that had, shifted up its lineup a bunch. Coming into that season, guys like Schwarber, guys like Castellanos. Trevor Zegras feels like the Kyle Schwarber of this crew, man. I mean, he is just, talk about a great trade, getting way more than you gave up. Trevor Zegras has been the lifeblood of this hockey team all season long, a career resurgence here in his career year. Now his first just about in the books with Philadelphia. But he has come in and been an absolute stud, giving juice on a nightly basis, always where he needs to be, setting other guys up, taking the shots himself. He doesn't hesitate, and it seems like he's always contributing in a positive fashion. Feels a lot like the Kyle Schwarber edition. But you remember that year, the Phillies, they made a bunch of those different lineup adjustments. Guys like Bohm got a ton more consistent playing time. It was the Schwarber Castellanos year. Stott came up. Marsh came over. So that the lineup was constantly evolving, it felt like. Out with the old sort of and in with those younger guys. And boy, do we not have any shortage of younger guys making an absolute impact and driving this thing toward the postseason. Headlined, of course, by Porter Martone, but he's not alone. You got Bump doing his thing the last few games. He's been a crucial guy through center that seems to headman a lot of these plays up through the neutral zone. Denver Barkey, what a sick pass to set up Michkov on his goal. And also Michkov, still a young guy, of course, another one of those headlines that, there was a lot of ups and downs this year for Matvei Michkov with the getting benched and coming in overweight and looking slow and maybe doesn't have the goal numbers we expected. But down the stretch, when it mattered, Matvei Michkov has been the player we have asked him to be. And damn it, I thought he was gonna put the game away on that breakaway in overtime. Game on his stick, just couldn't finish. Man, the Flyers had some opportunities to have sort of that statement goal to end things. Tippett going in, drew the slashing call. Michkov in overtime. There were a couple others in there, but those are the two that really stuck out after I had to calm down last night and this morning. All I could think about was that Flyers game. So just an incredible feeling with these young guys, the energy. And you have your Forsters, your Tippetts, your Noah Cates, and some veteran presence, Couturier, kind of the backbone of that, but Sanheim, Konechny. So I think you have a great mix of players. And I don't think that this is just, it's a bunch of youthful guys. They're just going to be a one and done here going into this playoff. I really believe that this Flyers team can make a run. And I know we had to sweat it out. It was a 3-2 shootout win over half of the Carolina Hurricanes. But still, you look at what they did to Winnipeg. That was a dominating win. You look at the gutsy win against Boston. You look at the games before that against the Islanders. These are teams that were right there with the Boston's a playoff team. I mean, Pittsburgh we played well this year already in the regular season. That's who we're going to play coming up here. They took Carolina to overtime all 4 times they played, I believe. So that yesterday was not an anomaly. This team has played hard. They have a ton of overtime, wins and just games in general. So they're hanging in with all these different teams. And I'm very excited to see what can happen. I mean, I keep comparing it to the Boston game. And you look at they had the shootout win, or not shootout, overtime win with Martone's goal. But I was down there in February, at the end of February, when this run really started to kind of take hold right after the Olympics. They beat the Bruins. They had a great third period, beat up on them a little bit. And so it's not just one-time things. It's not just like they got an easy schedule down the stretch. And that's why they backed into the playoffs. This team looked hungry. This team started playing its best hockey the last month and a half. And they absolutely deserve this, however far this run goes. They absolutely worked their tails off for it. And we have certainly, as fans, paid our dues for this upcoming, hopefully, weeks and months on this next playoff run. So I'm super excited. I'll have a more in-depth breakdown coming of the upcoming playoff series. But right now, just want to, can we just sit here and understand what we just saw? Hockey is back in the city of Philadelphia. Playoff hockey's coming back. And it had a playoff feel to it last night. That crowd was waiting to explode. The team went down 2-0, and the previous Flyer teams, the Flyers of 2020, the Flyers that barely got into the playoffs in 2018, all those teams would have quit. We have a different squad here right now. They worked and worked and worked, and they were getting outzoned and outplayed in that second period until they finally, Denver Barkey to Matvei Michkov, and their first shot on net found Twine, 2-1. Then they got their power play going, which is just going to be brutal. Going to be brutal in the playoffs if this power play stays bad. But that was a good sign yesterday. And then they just keep at it. They just keep at it. Their goalie is nuts, dude. Dan Vladar, what a signing. What a signing. It's unbelievable. It's the Zach Wheeler contract that the Phillies got. This man is criminally underpaid for what he's done this year. And it really just, when you get to the playoffs, if you have a stud netminder that is playing his best, goaltending at that time, you can go very far. The Flyers now have the shooters to make an impact. I worry about their blue line. You have a collection, guys like Sanheim, Ristolainen, Drysdale, York. I worry that that's not enough to play with the big boys, these big forwards of other teams that are in this tournament now. That's where I'm going to be looking. Can the Flyers blue line keep up? But you got the shooters, you got the goaltender, you've got the coach that obviously understands how to maintain this locker room while getting guys to change. He navigated the Michkov situation, not how a lot of fans would have wanted him to, but it worked. He got the results. And now that has to factor in that we now trust Tocchet. That has to factor in for a lot. Going toe-to-toe with the guy that was brought in to be the face of this franchise, putting him in his place, and not only that, not only establishing dominance in the locker room, getting Michkov to play so much better as the season went on, looking like a completely different guy first half and second half. A masterclass by Rick Tocchet. So we have been starved for this. We have been waiting for another run. I need 2012 vibes in this Penguins series. I need it. I need it in my soul. I am actually predicting, early prediction, Flyers in 6, just like 2012. That was another series where Pittsburgh had the home ice advantage. We won it in Game 6 at home, where Giroux in the first 30 seconds, knocked Crosby to the ice and then put it in the net. And I'm looking for, Giroux was a rookie that year, I believe, or was he rookie in 2010? I should know the answer to that question. But I'm so fired up about last night, all my thoughts are jumbled around. Anyway, he was a young dude, and he came up clutch and got things rocking. I'm looking for Martone to do that this time around. But I need fights. I need people knocking that retiree Crosby out of this league. I need him to be so bruised and banged up and just keep laying the lumber on him. And I need a Flyers win. I hate the Penguins. I'll say it again. Crosby sucks. I'm not losing to this dweeb that has just been there my entire life. It's annoying, dude. It's ridiculous. So I need physical Flyers hockey. That's not something we've seen from them in this stretch run. They haven't been playing physical. Are they going to be able to stand up to it? Because the Penguins are a bigger team. They're going to rough you up. Can you hang tough? I'm looking at guys like Sealer, Hathaway. Can these guys do enough? Fire up the team. Get the juice flowing in the crowd when it's back in Philly. But most of all, we need Dan Vladar to stay like he's been this year. And we need these young guys to feast. And we need to fix that power play. So those are kind of the early things I'm looking at. But the number one thing I'm looking at is the gratitude and the excitement I have finally, after I've been telling people for years to pay attention to the Flyers. They're going to the playoffs this year. They've got a good young core. And it finally came to fruition. I could not be more ecstatic. And I need a win in this series like I need oxygen. So that's it for me today. Plenty more to come. We have a hunt for a cup coming up now, so I will be much more frequently breaking down these games, predictions, stuff like that. And dude, thank you to the Phillies, by the way, for blowing that game open yesterday so I could just focus on the hockey game. Because I've been pissed with this Phillies team. Pissed. I've been pissed that they only score in one inning. They scored in like almost all of them. So credit to the Phils. Video coming out about them at some point, probably after the duration of the Cubs series. The Diamondback series was so frustrating, but we'll talk about it. But for now, just so excited. Let me know your thoughts. Are you a bandwagon? Are you here for the vibes? Are you excited about it? Or have you been like me? You've been having to hold your tongue because no one wants to talk about the Flyers. Everyone tells you to shut up, and now they're the hottest topic in the city. So let me know your thoughts, your predictions, your emotions watching that shootout, and we'll keep the conversation going. So I'm Mitchell Smedley. This is Smedley on Sports. Let's go Flyers, and Crosby sucks as always.